Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. The Monday before the election, so we're at Monday election eve, I guess this would be. So Bitcoin hasn't been cooperating with us the last 6 days. It's been on a slide for it. Last time we were sliding that many days was back in May of 2023. So it's been a while since we had 6 days in the red for Bitcoin here. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, what's going on there. We'll take a look at, can't talk. We'll take a look at Bitcoin miners as well. We'll then take a look at the production updates that we have for Cleanspark, Marathon, and Riot. There's other ones that came out today as well. We had Hive. I think Cypher came out as well. And we had one more. Who was the other one? TerraWolf. We'll look at those tomorrow. Then we also have a new story from BitDigital today. They signed a deal with Boosteroid. We'll talk about that really quick as well. And then we'll get into your guys' Q&A side of things here, so it should be pretty easy. And then we'll talk about everything here, okay? But as always, you guys know the drill, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please, please, please do your own research on all this stuff here. And full disclosure down below that. Hit the like button if you enjoy this type of content. But yeah, let's get into what's going on here with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners first, and we'll get into everything else. So we can see here Bitcoin has been on quite a slide. It's been 6 days that we've been in the red here. We just can't get a reprieve from Bitcoin sliding here. Hopefully, it looks like right now we're kind of going up, at least right now, right? We have the election tomorrow, which is going to be significant, I think, depending on who wins. At that point, we might have a nice boost if Trump wins, right, for Bitcoin. If we get Kamala that wins, well, we might be stagnant, or maybe for a couple of days at least before we go back up. I think, historically it doesn't really matter who wins, but there might be a little bit more benefit to it if Trump wins this time around because he is so much more pro-Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners and things like that. But time will tell, right? We don't really know what's going to happen here until it actually does. But the miners had a rough day today as well. They were down single digits percentage-wise. The only one that was actually up today was Annie. One of the smaller miners here was up just a little bit here, up about 1%, but everything was down. It's been a rough week, we can say, before the election here. So I'm really hoping that the election tomorrow goes well and we get a decisive win for regardless of the party. I just want a decisive win because I do not want this to prolong for days, weeks, months on end while they battle out in courts and everything else before we find out who the actual winner there is. So I hope it's a decisive victory for either party. I think that would be good for the markets and Bitcoin in general instead of having an unknown lingering over us. What else do we have here? Bitcoin right now, the good thing is Bitcoin has sustained its, remember I drew this downward line here on it, and it's been staying above it right now, at least the last couple of days here. So that might mean that this is kind of the bottom of the trough here that we're going to fall into before we start going back up. And that would be great, actually. If that happens, that would be great. But we'll see. Time will tell. Tomorrow's definitely going to be an interesting day. We'll talk about tomorrow, like I said, on Hive, TerraWolf, and Cypher. Whoever else reports, maybe we'll just keep it to 3, I think, because if we go any more than 3, it gets to be a long video, nonetheless. So we'll cover those 3 tomorrow, and then we'll cover also any news that we have in the election as well a little bit. We'll just kind of flip back between the latest results on it, see who's taking the lead at that time when I'm doing the video. We'll do a Q&A as well, and yeah, we'll see how things go. All right. Big thing I want to talk to you guys now is going to be the news stories. So, Bitcoin here on the cycles wise, it's down 3% for the month so far. So we do need to make that up to be similar to the 2016 cycle here, at least. But stories that we do have here is BitDigital. They execute MSA with Boosteroid, third largest cloud gaming provider for initial deployment. It's not a lot, but it's a start. So that's a good sign here for BitDigital. So BitDigital today announced that it has executed a master service agreement with Boosteroid, a global cloud gaming provider and a new customer of BitDigital's high-performance computing services. BitDigital has previously announced that it had signed a binding term sheet with Boosteroid on August 19th, 2024. So we're now August, September, 2 months roughly. BitDigital has finalized a purchase order for the starting quantity of GPUs. The initial order of 300 GPUs is expected to generate approximately $4.6 million in revenue to BitDigital over the 5-year term. So approximately $1 million a year, right? Not that much. $1 million a year, that's roughly, what is that going to be? 80,000 or something like that a month, right? If I'm doing my math right around there, 85, 90,000, something like that. So it's not a lot of revenue, but it is an agreement which could then provide a lot more. So the agreement provides Boosteroid with the option to expand in increments of 100 servers up to 50,000 servers, representing a potential 700 million revenue opportunity for BitDigital over the 5-year term, contingent on deployment plans and marketing conditions. Okay, so this is kind of interesting here. The agreement provides Boosteroid with the option to expand in increments of 100. Okay, so I'm guessing if they go in and say they want 1,000 GPUs, that would be fine. I don't think they have to go 100 at a time. Like we want 100, then another 100, and then another 100, right? So I think it's kind of fine way to do it. But we'll see how much they can capitalize on this going forward over the next couple of years to see if they can boost that up even more potentially. So this is good news for BitDigital, right? It's small, but it's good news. And this is the kind of path that they're going into, and that's why I kind of put BitDigital into my smaller miners. But I do cover them here because the HPC play is interesting. I want to see how they perform compared to the other miners as well. So we're going to kind of talk about him in these videos as well. All right. Next here is going to be the production updates for all the miners. Well, not all the miners, 3 miners here. So Cleanspark releases October 2024 Bitcoin mining update. They mined 655 Bitcoin, a 32% increase from the prior month. That's a sizable increase there. So nice job by Cleanspark there. And here's what we got. So Bitcoin mined was 655. Calendar year so far, mined 5,734. Their total Bitcoin HODL is now at 8,701, getting really, really close to HUT 8, which has 9,004, I think, right now. So next month, they might actually surpass HUT 8 in the amount of HODL that they have. Month and operating hash rate increased also to 31.3 here. Bit of an increase, but not much. And that's basically it. They talk about the Knoxville, Tennessee facility, which is going to contribute approximately 5 exahash to them. The Cheyenne, Wyoming facility, which is also going to add about 5 exahash. And then the Clinton, Mississippi facility is going to add about 1 exahash here on that one, it looks like. All right, let's take a look at the numbers that I do have here for the miners. So Cleanspark right now has about 248 million shares outstanding. This is the latest numbers that I have for them. They will probably grow when they report their fiscal year-end numbers here sometime in the next couple of weeks. Stock price today was at $9.80. Market cap was $2.4 billion for them. Their performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great. Right, 12% down from 12 weeks ago. They're up 10% from 8 weeks ago. They're up also 7.7% from 4 weeks ago, and they were down 9% last week. Now, their current hash rate is about 31.3 exahash. Their future hash rate is supposed to be about 50 exahash. I have them at 56.6. I think I'm still probably holding on to some of the older miners that they probably swapped out. So I will need to update that eventually, I think. Bitcoin HODL is 8,701. That's valued at 570 million right now. So huge HODL right now for them. They've done a tremendous job growing that HODL. Bitcoin production here, 655 for the month. Nice, very, very nice increase from September here. They're getting close to where they were last year at the peak. We had the halving event happened at in April, right? They still mined 721 at that point. They peaked at 806. We're getting close to that again. You can see here last year in October, they actually mined 633. So they mined more this year after the halving event than they did last year. That's awesome. Monthly revenue has also increased to 42.95 million. They're getting close to where they peaked here in March as well, 54 million. So that's really good to see also. Bitcoin HODL, check this out. Last year, they were at 2.3 thousand Bitcoin. They are at 8.7. That's basically a 4x in the amount of Bitcoin that they HODL right now, which is great. We'll have to wait and see how they do into this bull run. Will they sell a large portion of it or half of it at least, like they did in the prior cycle, which I think was great for them to do because then they can actually grow in the bear market without possibly diluting as much. But time will tell on that. And you can see their hash rate growth here. October of last year, they were at 10 exahash, 3x growth here in hash rate. Fantastic job by the team there on that. And Bitcoin sold here, you can see that they've been selling very little here as of the beginning of this year. So January is when they pretty much went all HODL for the most part. And then BTC per exahash efficiency actually improved for them for October to 20.9, which is good. And then you can see the sale value there. We'll get into these numbers here in a second here, along with, let's take a look at institutions here. So institutions did increase a little bit here to 388, and the number of shares also increased to 115 million, so that's good, and percentage owned went up to 46.27. We still have 4 strong buy ratings for them, 1 buy rating, 1 hold rating, and price targets stay the same at $30 for the high, 2022.08 for the average, and 10.50 for the low. So that's kind of in line with my numbers here. We'll take a look at my numbers here in a second. And then going down here for the month of October, we got a lot of miners for them. So I did swap out some of these older generation miners here. I believe that are going to be getting taken offline, the 100 terahash miners, right, that they're upgrading their fleet. So I did take those out here in October. And I added some more of these S21 Pros here to get us to the 31.3 exahash that they stated as being at right now. And they were operating for about 29.32 days. So really, really good operational uptime. We had 31 days in October as it was. So really good numbers there. Okay. On average. Okay. So that's that part of it. It's going up here. My numbers here for the last 3 quarters, I'm using the 2 oldest quarters plus the last quarter, which was ended in September, as the September numbers are estimated right now. But I've been pretty close to their numbers here for the figures, so I'm guessing I'm going to be pretty close as well. Right, I was only off by 0.09% for the June figures. So Q2, Q3, for them it's going to be Q4 actually. I think I'm going to be pretty close to it. So we're using those numbers right now. And the current quarter that we're in right now, which is also estimated, I'm guessing somewhere between 1746 and 2618 is where I think they should be fairly valued at. They're valued at 980, right? So they could definitely be an easy 2.5x from where they really should be right now. And then if we look at the last month operational revenue for October, multiplying that times 12 months, I'm between 2077 and 3116. And where did the analysts have them at the high end? $30, right? So kind of in line with what I have them right now as it is. But yeah, overall, I mean, what can you say about Cleanspark? Cleanspark has been one of the best performers here as far as growth and operations and all that stuff. They've done a fantastic job coming from basically nothing about 3 years ago. So congrats to the team there. There's not much I can complain about it. We just need to continue to see their growth going forward. And eventually they might actually surpass Marathon, I think, and Bitcoin might, because Marathon was only a little bit higher, like a couple Bitcoins higher in production for their self-mining through Marapol. But we'll take a look at Marathon here next. Okay. So remember, Cleanspark was at 655. We'll take a look at Marathon here next. So Marathon announces their Bitcoin production update for the month here. Management commentary here. October was our best month of Bitcoin production since April's halving event, as uptime remained strong, and we grew our energized hash rate to 40.2 exahash, a 14% increase over September, said Fred Thiel, Mara's chairman and CEO. Despite a slight month-over-month decrease in block wins, driven by the growth in global hash rate and the resulting rise in difficulty level, BTC production increased by 2% to 717. And that's for all their operations. So self-mining and part of their joint ventures they're a part of as well. Transaction fees accounted for approximately 5% of the total of our particular transaction, generating a fee. One particular transaction generating a fee of 3.2 BTC and another generating 2.6. We believe that our proprietary technology platforms such as Slipstream and Marapool, our proprietary mining pool, also allows us to capture all potential benefits and take advantage of higher transaction fees as they arise. Yeah, and they're getting it, right? So that's great. Let's see here. Our 50 exahash target by the end of the 2024 is within sight as we steadily increase our hash rate by installing new miners, improving infrastructure, and energizing additional immersion containers. Okay, so that's all great there. And here's the updates that we do have here. So number of blocks one was 200. I got the same amount of blocks from Marapool. We'll take a look at the numbers that I have for BTC mining there. Bitcoin produced was 717. That includes their JVs as well, so joint ventures. Energized hash rate was 40.2. And let's see if there's anything else. And that's basically it here. So if we look at Marathon on my numbers, where do they stack up here? Let's see here. Okay, so they came in at 656 BTC. Cleanspark came in at 655, I believe, right? Really close. So Cleanspark having less hash rate actually came really close to what Marathon did here, which is quite the feat. But Marathon has 294 million shares outstanding, stock price 1550, market cap 4.5 billion here. Performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great also, right? They're down 0.8% from 12 weeks ago. They're down 0.1% from 8 weeks ago. They're up a little bit from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were down 5.57. So kind of a similar story that we saw with Cleanspark as well. Current hash rate 40 exahash, future hash rate 50 exahash. They do have a lot more. Bitcoin 27,562. That's valued at 1.8 billion. That represents about 39% of their market cap as it is. Bitcoin self-mined here, it's been kind of flat here. They've been around the 650 range or so, somewhere around there. You can see that for the last couple of months. Their best month was in December of last year, 1,100 BTC. That was just crazy good. But they've had issues ever since then, and it seems like they still can't get past that almost. Revenue increased nicely here to 43, right? Prior high was in December, it was 76.58. And then their BTC hodl here has been increasing with a sizable increase in August when they bought Bitcoin. Put it on the balance sheet here, and we saw September increase October as well. But huge hodl here. Hash rate has been increasing it nicely as well. They were at 19.2, so basically a 2x in growth here since last year. And Bitcoin sold here. You can actually see the positive, right? They bought minus if you take out what they mined here, it'd probably be more, I think. I have to run the numbers on it. BTC per exahash efficiency continues to kind of go down here. They're at 16.3 right now. Bitcoin sold value, how much they sold. We'll take a look at my numbers here in a second. Going down to the institutions and analyst ratings, those have actually went down a little bit. Institutions went down to 507. Shares went up. I believe they went up. No, they went down. No, up. Yeah, 172 million from 171 million. So that's an increase there. And then percentage went up to 58.81. So slight increase. We now have 4 strong buy ratings, 1 buy ratings, 5 hold ratings, 1 underperform ratings. Price target is $27 for them. Average of $20.50 and the low is 12. So the only one that increased was the average here. All right. So for the month here, I had them operating for October. Where's it at? There it is. For about 23.5 days, with the new miners being added, running at about 20 days on average, is what I'm guessing here. And that got us to the 43.04 million here, which is based on the average price of Bitcoin, which is what I have here. And historically, I've been pretty close to them as well as far as revenue, right? 0.32, 0.16. I've been pretty close. So we're going with those numbers there for it. And when we look at the numbers up here, as far as where I think they should be valued at, looking at the last 3 quarters, which or the current quarter, which is the quarter ending December, last 3 quarters, which is the 2 quarters, the oldest quarters, are actual numbers. September numbers are estimated combined, right? We're looking at 1720 to 2580. Currently, they're 1550. I do think that they're undervalued. They should be valued, at least, 1.5x from where they are right now. If we look at the numbers for October revenue for the month times 12 months, I'm between 1754 and 2631. So that's actually an increase there. So I believe these miners will get more, especially as Bitcoin continues to run up here. The big thing for them is on the operation side of things, efficiency. I definitely would like to see them getting closer to like 90% uptime. I mean, they were operating for 23 days here out of 31. That's not great based on this. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it. Right? It's just a constant thing that we're seeing here with Marathon and operations. I don't know if it's the sites that they're hosted on. Those are the ones that are the issues for them instead of their own self-mining sites. I just don't know. But I would definitely like to see that improvement on there because they have a lot of potential there if they can do that. And the reason I quib about miners and their operations uptime is because when you buy machines, there's usually like a 12 to 18 months ROI on those things. And if you're not running them closer to 100%, it's going to take you longer to basically get an ROI on those machines. That's why I quib about it. Okay. All right. So that's Marathon there. Let's take a look at Riot here really quick, and then we'll get into you guys' Q&A side of things here. So right now, it says October production update as always. Bitcoin mined 505. Very nice increase from them from 412 in September. Bitcoin held also increased to 10,928. Hash rate increased to 29.4, so we got about 1.2 exahash added into it. And their average operating hash rate improved as well, 22.7 from 19.5. So that's good. It's still not as high as I would like to see it, right? Jason has talked about being closer to 95% uptime. If that's the case, then we need to be much closer to like 28, 27 exahash in operation right now. We're still not there. But they also said that they had 2 days where they were down at Corsicana for transformer maintenance, I believe it was. So the whole facility was down for 2 days or something like that. So maybe once we get a full month of operations, those things should improve. So possibly this month that we're in right now. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Beautiful picture of their facility here. It's amazing how quickly they've been able to build this out. So I can't take that away from them. They've done a fantastic job building that out this year. And then here's the inside picture of it as well. And then, of course, kind of updates as well. That stuff you guys can read all the stuff you want. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers that I have here for Riot. We'll get into Q&A. So Riot right now is about 332 million shares. This is as of the reporting last week. So the market cap is about 2.9 billion right now. Performance over the last 12 weeks has been actually pretty good. It has been too bad. They're up 18% from 12 weeks ago, 31% from 8 weeks ago, 12% up from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were only down 2%. But they've been beaten down tremendously because their operations, I think, have been bad historically. So that's definitely helping them out here. Current hash rate 29. They're supposed to get to 30 exahash by the end of the year, so they're pretty close to being fully installed here, it seems like, for that. And I think they're targeting 35 by the end of the year, which I don't have the miners for that. So there's must be some miners that they're getting that I don't have. Bitcoin HODL 10,928, valued at 716 million right now. Bitcoin production here, you can see that in December was probably their best month, kind of like it was for Marathon as well. They had 619. They're close to that as well, 505. They were at 458 last October, but they had also operational issues there. They weren't operating nowhere near as good as they are right now, but they still need to improve here on that. Revenue here is the best month that they've had here, 33.12 million in the last year. So that's really good. Bitcoin HODL has been increasing as well. You can see that they started at 7.3 thousand in October of last year, right? They added another about, 3.6 thousand BTC in the last year or so. So that's pretty good. Hash rate increases have been really good also. They started at 11.7, they're at 29, so that's almost like a 3x in hash rate growth. And then Bitcoin sold, you can see that they've been selling very, very little since February, actually. BTC per exahash efficiency improved here to 17.17. That's good. We wanted to see that, especially as their uptime improves and everything else. That should help there. And Bitcoin sold value, you can see that. We'll get into my numbers here in a second. Institutions did decrease a little bit here to 438, just one less. Shares actually increased to 142 million. Percentage increase as well to 47.58. We now have 9 strong buy ratings, 5 buy ratings, 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price targets went up a little bit to 24 from 22. The average went down to 16.23, so a little bit down, and the low stayed the same at 8.22. Going down here, what did they operate on October? Based on my averages here, it looks like they were operating for about 22.45 days on average, roughly, which is better improvement that they were in September with 19.94. So that's good, but still like to see that much, much higher from where they are right now. And hopefully they'll do that. And let me put this in here. Let's see if they can maintain this, because that might affect their stock price here. 22.457 days, 457 days, and delete the rest of that. If they maintain this, at least we'll see, but that'll definitely affect their stock price, or where at least I think it should be. So got that updated. And then going back up to where I think they possibly should be right now. Are they fairly valued, undervalued? Well, I think they're kind of fairly valued right now as it is. But I think that's going to improve as their numbers improve, and production updates and efficiencies, uptime, all that stuff is going to definitely help the stock go up, because you can see it down here actually. So right now, based on the current quarter that we're in, which ends in December, the last 3 quarters, which is all actual numbers for them, I have them between 872 to 1309. They're at 898 right now. I think they're kind of fairly valued on the low side. I'd like to see them being more in the middle or a little higher than that. And then if we use the revenue from this current month of October, multiply times 12, I get a much higher number for them, 1124 to 1685. So I would say that they are undervalued right now based on their potential to grow, their hash rate and all that stuff in there. All right. So for Marathon, my big thing has always been uptime, operations, and things like that. Other part of it was also stock-based compensation. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch Bryce's and Anthony's video today with Jason, he talks about the explanation for the share-based compensation. I get it. I get how they're doing it. I wish they would do it a different way, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's basically it on them. All right. Oh, as always, my sales pitch. Patreon members get full access to all my spreadsheets on Patreon. Link is down in the description for that. If you're interested in that, it's $8 a month. There might be a couple spots that are still at $4 or $5. If you can get those, more power to you. You're going to be saving some money there. And also, if you pay for the annual one, which is an option, you can get a 10% discount on top of that as well. So that's something to think about there. And yeah, you guys, the Patreon members and YouTube members will get this updated actually tomorrow. YouTube members get my PDF versions of this, and the Patreon members actually get the original version, which is the numbers version in Apple, and you get an exported version of Excel and a PDF version of it as well. Okay, so that's it. Let's get into the Q&A side of things here, see what you guys have to say. See if you guys have any questions on any of this stuff. But then we'll just call it a day. All right, give me a couple of seconds here while I scroll back up on the comments to see if I can find some questions that you guys might have. Okay, where are we at here? Let's see. Okay, comments. Okay. Mr. Credit says it will be a mess tomorrow. Even if Trump loses, he will declare victory prematurely. The election won't be decided until Wednesday, and BTC will be. That wouldn't be a bad outcome, right? It'd be one thing if it's done by Wednesday. I'd be fine with that because we might not get it until Wednesday morning, anyways. Right? I'm saying the election might not get fully called until either very, very late tomorrow or like early, maybe Wednesday, if that's the case. Right, depending on the voting and all that stuff. But that would be still a pretty good outcome. I do not want a long, protracted fight over this. I think that would be not good, one, for the stock market, for Bitcoin also. Okay, what else we got? What is it going to take for you to sell out Bitfarms if they don't have any hash rate growth here in November? I think that would be kind of like the nail in the coffin there at that point. But that and them stating that they're going to get 21 exahash until like the middle of next year, I think that'd be another thing. Hello, Sub. Have you heard from the stock Semler Scientific? The company also buys Bitcoin. Yeah, I've heard about them. Yep. They've been buying that as well. Okay, let's get serious. When will IREN hit $80 so I can tell my boss to F off? Possibly, if things go well for us, possibly next year, right around this time. It might be faster than that, but we'll see. HD Tech says Mara's down 2.73 overnight. Yeah, might. I don't know if it's because Cleanspark's kind of nipping at their heels a little bit there with Bitcoin production. Okay, let me see. Oh, Cleanspark will never outmine Mara. They are way behind Mara in exahash. Exahash doesn't matter. It's operational uptime, right? Mara's got 40 exahash. Cleanspark's got 31 exahash, whatever it is, and they're only like 1 or 2 Bitcoin behind them in production. So that doesn't have anything to do with it. You could have 100 exahash, but if your production sucks, somebody else could overtake you on Bitcoin mining, and that's the real important part of it there. What do you think about Bitcoin pulling back and mining comps as well? Do you still believe BTC will hit 80 to 90,000 by the end of January or February 2025? I think this month is going to be tricky. I think if maybe Trump wins the election, we might get a little bump from that. If Kamala Harris wins, we might trade sideways, go down a little bit. I don't know. We'll see on that one. That's kind of in the air right now for me. And also, if we're in the same cycle as we were in 2015, 2016, in 2016, in November, Bitcoin was only up 5%. If we have that kind of a month, okay, we might not get to that 89,000 here in November, but December after that was a really good month where we were up 30%. So 30% from where we are right now would be roughly around 80, 90,000 mark, I think, somewhere around there, so that we still might get there by the end of the year. Let's see. HTech says, Cleanspark is coming from Mara. Yep. Everyone talks about Mara. The results will speak for themselves in 2025. I'm not saying they're going to do great. The stock's probably going to go do really good. I mean, they're still the biggest miner as it is with market cap. So I'm not saying that. I just not a big fan of their operations. So you're not talking about Mara, just talking up Cleanspark for good reason. Yeah. Okay. Yuri says, depends on how many millions of dollars Mara is willing to lose to hold the mining lead. Their cost per coin is highest of all the large miners and bleeding cash on every coin they mine. Yes, but should get to scale once it gets higher in hash rate. That should help them out. But they still have, 55% of the sites they own for themselves, and the rest, 45, I think, is still hosted. They got to do something about the other 45%, I think. Why not own Mara and Cleanspark for life? No, don't own them for life. Ride the cycles, get out of them when things are good, doing good. If you had to pick one miner to rule them all by the end of the bull run, which miner would you choose? Oh, my choice would be Cleanspark probably. If they can continue to grow like they did this year into next year, Mara's definitely gonna have some competition there, but we'll see. Okay, what if this is an accelerated cycle as we already had one all-time high? If BTC tops at 100,000, could miners only do 2x a cycle? That might be it, yeah. I think that would be too low because from going from 69,000 from the previous high to only 100,000, I think that might be too low based on the cycles that we've had before. Yes, there is a law of diminishing returns on it because each cycle, the X multiple decreases with Bitcoin, how far it goes up because the price of Bitcoin goes up so much higher. So that's why I'm still thinking 150,000 to 180,000 would be a good bet to go into it. And why is AI popping up on my phone? Okay, what else do we have here? Let's see. Hey, Sebastian, who should we buy right now for the best return? That's a tough question, right? All of it takes is just one miner to come up with some good news and it's going to pump like crazy. So that's always tough. I can only tell you which ones are at least undervalued in my opinion right now. If you look at like the enterprise value on these guys here. So, I mean, right now, Cleanspark still looks like the most undervalued for future hash rate growth at 32 million. And you got Bitfarms at 34 million. You got Iris at 42 million. And then Marathon actually is down below Riot, surprisingly. Riot's at 64 million and Marathon's below that. But I think those five right there are like a really good get compared to what you have with Cypher, Bitdeer, Hut 8, Core, and Terrawolf especially. And those, I think those guys are getting really well valued or overvalued actually. Okay. Okay. Who do you think will win the election? Gosh, I don't know. It's close call. We'll find out tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. Space Credit says I'd pick IREN better hodl. They don't hodl anything. Cleanspark has a better hodl, much better hodl. They're in number 4 spot now. Mara has got the most hodl, followed by Riot, then Hut, which is really not close to Cleanspark, which Cleanspark could overtake Hut 8 next month. Okay. Space Credit says, "Oh, I'm being sarcastic, trying to provide some laughs because my Mara bags are so low right now." Okay, appreciate it. And my IREN is up. Okay, nice. Oh, okay. I'm trying to find some other comments, questions. Bear with me, guys. Here, sorry. There's a lot of comments between about Mara and Cleanspark and all that stuff. Okay. Okay. What is your long-term game plan for Bitfarms? Are you going to buy in more during a market downturn since there are uncertainties in the market due to the election? I've talked about this in the past, the last couple of weeks, at least 2 weeks. I'm trying to save up some cash. I have some expenditures that I need to pay for coming up. So I haven't been able to buy, but I wish I was able to buy because I'd like to buy these downturns. I like buying the dips. So it's frustrating for me that I can't do that. But long-term plan with Bitfarms was, and I did that, to dollar cost average into it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to be able to do that going forward, but at least for the time being, I need to save up some cash. So if I save up the cash that I need, I can definitely dollar cost average in afterwards, some more. But I've been doing that over the since January 2022 in Bitfarms. I've been dollar cost averaging since then. And the long-term plan is to possibly get at least a 5 to 10x out of it, something like that. And that would make me very happy. I think it would make you guys very happy too, depending when you got into it. All right. Do you think $10 is the bottom for Cleanspark? Have you been buying Cleanspark the past few days? Not the past few days. The past couple of weeks I have been buying it. I've been buying Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms pretty evenly here as far as dollar amounts are concerned. But recently, like I just said, I need to hold a little bit more cash. Why is Bitfarms getting dumped every single day? Yeah, that's just the market that we're in right now. I mean, all the miners are kind of going down as it is. Okay, let's see. What is the cost per BTC for Cleanspark? I think Matt has stated that's like around 26,000, I think, somewhere around there. And that's just cost of electricity, I believe. So add on top of that other things, and you're looking maybe closer to like 40, 50,000 all in, maybe. Okay. Why don't miners report the cost per BTC mine metrics? Isn't this important to know the profitability? Yes, definitely. It'd be nice if they did report it. Some miners do, some miners don't. Let's see. Gary asks, Seb, are Mara mining profitability including all expenses like stock-based compensation, miner depreciation, easy to be profitable if you don't include those, everything? No, so I don't include those in my numbers for those guys. I try to take out depreciation and stock-based compensation, right? Because those are non-cash things. So I take those out. But yeah, Marathon has been like for all-in cost, right? It's to break even. Mara last quarter, I don't have the current numbers for them yet. I'll do that when they report. But last quarter they were at, was it like closer to 60, higher 60s, lower 70s, time-wise. No, sorry, my microphone is getting loose here for some reason. Annoying. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, especially if you had spare change, which miner do you think is undervalued and good buying opportunity? Well, that goes back to this chart here that we have here, this table at least, right? The ones that are over here in the future hash rate growth, the ones that are being valued low, I think those are still really good gets, especially ones that are growing nicely here, which we know Cleanspark is, IREN is, Riot is, Marathon is. I think those guys should be getting valued higher than some of these guys over here. Okay, that's the way I would expect it to go forward, especially if Bitcoin starts running up in price. But time will tell. Okay. Is Mara still mining Casper? I believe they are. Space Grids. Okay. So now in top positions of growth, best to own rank: Cleanspark, Mara, IREN, Riot, Wolf, and way down. Okay. I will give you guys. Bitfarms, I think, is more risky than the other ones. Because it just hasn't done as well as the other ones have. But we also saw the same thing happen with Cleanspark in 2023. Cleanspark was, based on my metrics, my data, and things like that, it should have been the top performing miner, but it wasn't until a certain point where it finally caught its bid and went on a parabolic rise and outperformed the other ones. So time will tell. William says, I had to email Bitfarms just to express some frustration that others have been posting. Was surprised to get a reply. Oh, nice. I mean, most of these companies will reply back as long as you're not too mean to them or too offensive or anything like that. They will reply back to you. But that's good that they replied. Let's see. Jim, would you mind sharing who you are voting for tomorrow? Thanks. Okay. I did some more research into a topic, did some more viewing of content and things like that today as well. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm going to give Donald Trump one more shot. I voted for him twice already as it is. I wasn't happy with the way he acted after the elections and other things on top of it, but I'm going to give him one more shot. See if he can get his act together, be more of a president than, a grandpa child, basically. But we'll see. Okay, let's see. Gary says Mara likely pays close to double what IREN is paying for energy cost per coin. Yeah, I think IREN is around 4 cents or so, probably in the lower end, closer to like 3 something. Marathon is probably around like 5.5 to 6 cents all in. Okay. LTD says, this is why you invest money you do not need immediately. Toward beginning of 25 was my exit time frame. Okay, nice. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Seb just agreed with what you said was lies. What was lies? Saruman says, Trump's going to win and Bitcoin's going to fly. Drill, baby, drill. We'll see. I said, what is your financial position? How much invested, home mortgage, etc.? We're all on the same journey. I have my own cash, about 80,000 invested in the miners. Bitcoin, I've had Bitcoin since 2017, 2018, so there's not much invested in there, a couple thousand in that, but that's up huge for me. And house, what do I own in the house now? I own about 250,000 in the house. I still have student loan debts that are like 60-some thousand dollars. My profit 401k profit sharing plan is, my original investment is probably going to be maybe around 100-some thousand or so over the last 28 years I've been working or so. So it's not much there, but it's done a lot better. I got WGMI back in early 2023, so that's done fantastic for me there. Hoping to break 7 figures of wealth in the next year, possibly. Talked about that already. Repeated, sorry. Okay. Mara is smart to buy Bitcoin. What is wrong with mining and buying? Because you can mine it at a much lower cost, right? That's usually the thought process there. Why buy it when you can mine it at a much lower cost? And the other question for me for Marathon there is, historically, they don't sell their Bitcoin HODL. They end up diluting shareholders for it. So it's kind of like, how long will you hold on to it before you actually make use of it? I just don't know. Seb, what is your multiple from here? You would exit your Cleanspark and Marathon. Well, I don't own Mara, but Mara, I would say, I think this would go for Marathon too. I think I'm looking for at least, I'll start probably dollar cost averaging out. If I'm up from here, from this point on, if I'm up about 3 to 4x in Cleanspark. I do think it might go even higher than that, maybe around 6 to 7x, but depending where Bitcoin goes at that point. Gary says 312 to, for Trump to 226. Wait a minute, 312 to 226 for Trump. Okay, so that's the Electoral College. Bitfarms is getting murdered. What's going on? Bitcoin's going down. They're also behind on their targets for 12 exahash. That's what's happening there. Okay. Let's see. Question: who did you vote for? I haven't voted yet. I'm going to vote tomorrow. But I will be voting. I said earlier on, I said I'll give Trump one more shot, right, to see. Hopefully, he's going to be a better president this time around, or at least more of what I've expected out of president, right? Being more presidential, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, and not being a little grandpa child. Okay. Can Cleanspark appreciate in price further than Riot in a bull run? Potentially. There is some potential there, yes. Okay, so your metrics assume current conditions continue. What price for Mara at current BTC price and 90% uptime, and then price if BTC is 100,000, okay, 90% uptime. So I would think Marathon should be, well, let's take a look at Marathon really quick here on my numbers. This is where I think they should be right now. Right? If their numbers improve, I think the stock price should go up higher as well. So here's Marathon right here, right? So we're looking at Marathon. Here's all the numbers that we have for them. The production, like you can see here, the production has been pretty flat, or consistent at least over the last, was it 8-9 months or something like that. And based on the last 3 quarters, current quarter that we're in, numbers, I'm in between 1720 and 2580. They're at 1550. They're pretty close to where I think they're fairly valued, right? If we look at the numbers that we had for October revenue times 12 months, I'm in between 1754 and 2631. So a little bit of an increase there. If they improve their uptime, I would see them getting even higher for this, where I think they would be fairly valued. Now, given Bitcoin going up to 100,000, 200,000, whatever it might be, this is all going to go out the window. This is where I more or less think if the miners currently are undervalued or overvalued. Right? This kind of helps me out to see, okay, do I want to buy more into it? How far undervalued are they from where I think they should be? And then that kind of helps me out. But as Bitcoin goes up to 100,000, 200,000, then this is going to go out the window, because at that point, they're going to be generating so much revenue, they're going to catch a much better multiple on all this stuff here. Okay? So that's the way I kind of look at it. Got that. Let's see. At these levels, would you average into Bitfarms versus others? 170 per share is insane. I'd be buying that and others if I could, to be honest. I had one of my Patreon members ask me that also today. It's like, yeah, I'd be buying if I could. And hopefully I can get the cash that I need within the next couple of weeks. So that way I can still start buying maybe while the stuff is still low. All right. What else we got here? Okay. Okay, here we go. So would you consider doing a deep down exercise and evaluating or reevaluating miners' top price at 150, 130, 150, 175 and those table prices? Yeah, we can do that. I'll do that after we get the miners reporting all their quarterly results, because that way I can kind of see what their pricing is, where the shares are, and all that stuff. So I'll have a lot better understanding of where things are at. Okay, let's see here. Mara will have big profits in the upcoming quarters due to FSB with a large huddle. Yes, that is true. Than any other miner, 3x more huddle than Cleanspark. Mara will do MicroStrategy 2.0 style squeeze as it has high short interest. Possibility, yes. There's always a possibility there. But the thing we've seen with MicroStrategy is historically it's gotten like a 2 to 3x of a Bitcoin. So it does help, but the big thing is production, right? If you can produce it at 40,000 or something like that, or let's just say all-in cost 50 to 60,000 Bitcoin, and your Bitcoin's at 200,000. I mean, how much profit is that? That's huge profit at that point. Okay. Sean says, I've been buying predominantly Bitfarms in the past 3 months. Am I cooked? No. Just be patient. As long as Bitcoin goes up in value to 100,000, 150,000, whatever it might be, you'll do very. I think you should do very well in the long run. Gary says, don't you think efficiency wins out no matter what? Every time Bitcoin goes up, so does difficulty increase. So not like price jump will become all profit. Difficulty always goes up with the price so far. Yes, but we, in that short period of time that we have that price go up on parabolic rise, right? So we're looking in the next possibly 9 to 12 months, something like that. There's still going to be a huge spread between that, right? Between where the difficulty increases and where the price goes up. So that's really where you're making the profits there. Okay. Hi, Seb. Has your dad hit 7 figures with CORZ yet? No, he's close. He's only, let me see, we talked about it last week. He's like 300,000 or 400,000 away from getting there. So he's getting close. Let's see. But if you have BTC, you can acquire more BTC faster than the max bull run. A lot of people are going to look back with more respect for Mark. Cleanspark and IREN have way more fanboys. I mean, Mark, you might be right, depending on how they do it. But just looking, I've been following Marathon for the past, 3-4 years now, I think it is. Maybe even longer than that. My concern there is they've never really sold their Bitcoin HODL. Even when Bitcoin goes down, it's like, why would you do that? If you know the cycles are going to be doing what they're going to be doing, you should be selling it at the peak, at least not all of it, maybe some of it, and use that for growth going forward. But they don't do that. I'd like to see that, I think. I'm not a big fan of companies holding it through the bull run into the bear market, right? Losing all that. And maybe they will, because you have the FASB rules, which will take a big hit on them if they actually go down. Okay. Druckenmiller once said, in his investing philosophy, he's not afraid to bet the farm, but he'd like to make sure he has a few farms. I bet the farm and being patient. Yeah, nice. And I like this sentiment from Warren Buffett, where he said, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy, right? There's certain things that you kind of can emulate and do the same thing as long as you're getting into a company that you understand of what's going on there, where the growth is and things like that. Okay. Eric says, everyone smash the like button. Thank you. Thank you for being the salesperson here. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. I've held Bitfarms so long in the red, not going up on them, not giving up on them yet. Let's see what happens this coming week. Okay. What else? Mark says, thank you, Seb. Hope you have a relaxing election chaos. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what happens with it. Would you convert Cypher into Bitfarms? No. I think Cypher has a lot more growth going into 2025. I think the second half of it, or towards the end of the first half, more into the second half. That still should be in line with the Bitcoin cycle, right? So they should catch for that, possibly. Bitfarms is, I think, maybe possibly more risky there. Cypher also could have a HPCI play that they could sell a site or something like that to one of the hyperscalers, possibly. So there's always that could, tick, and the stock goes crazy. I mean, if you're up next in Cypher, maybe sell a little bit of it, buy a little bit of Bitfarms, diversify a little bit. Okay. Michael says, wow, Cleanspark seems deeply undervalued. FPE quite low at 4.9. Do you see this getting to 20? Oh, yeah, I still think so, yeah. Okay. Yay, Seb, regarding miner top estimates going forward. We're going to be, okay, yeah. I'll do that, but I got to get the latest latest shares outstanding is what I need. Okay. Mara is the safer bet among all the miners with their large HODL stack. Mara has to go up for others to follow. Not necessarily. There was a time, what was it, last year, 2023, where Riot was actually valued higher than Marathon was. So that's not always the case. But yes, Marathon is like one of the largest ones right now. But that could change. Okay. Do you think we'll see another crypto winner with the miners 8x plus in the next bull run? Yeah, that's one of the things I'm hoping for. I don't know if we're going to see it, especially with the adoption of Bitcoin, the ETFs, all that stuff. Will Bitcoin go down maybe 30-40% this time and continue to go up? We don't know. If we go down, 60-70% in Bitcoin, then okay, I'm thinking we're going to have another cycle, and I'd love it. I'd love to see that. Okay, Alex says, I'm sorry for so many stupid questions every time I watch the stream. Oh, no problem, no worries. We're here to get educated. I'll learn from you guys as well. Let's see. Are you watching Ben on Wednesday? Okay, the power show. Yeah, we're talking about the power mining analysis guys. Yeah, Ben. Bryce and Anthony. Yeah, love those guys. Definitely will be watching. See what Ben has to say there. All right. Will revenue from the miner fees increase miner appreciation this bull run? We saw a huge increase in the transaction fees. I think that's what you're talking about. We saw that right after the halving event, where, the halving event was almost like a non-event in April at least. But since then, it has cooled off. We haven't seen as much activity in runes, which we thought we were going to see, and then also in ordinals. So those are usually the ones that are driving it. Or if Bitcoin's actually doing really well, I think the transaction fees might help out there. But we just haven't really seen that here yet. Okay. Gary says, I agree if we have exponential bull run, not so much with an extended bull run with no big spikes. Okay. Do you think Wolf is currently overvalued? Yes. For Bitcoin mining, yes. Now, they do have the HPCI play potential there. So that's really what they're getting bid on right now is that. And then also Druckenmiller as well, investing in them. That was a huge catalyst for the stock. So I think for Bitcoin mining, they're way overvalued. Now, if they can get a HPCI play there, okay, maybe not so much. But they're getting high up there. How long do you think it will take for Cleanspark to use up all the ATM? They had an ATM that they announced back in March of this year, 800 million. I'm not sure how much they used up of it. We'll probably find out when they report their fiscal year-end numbers here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll find out at that point. All right. Let's see here. Part 2, our goal is to drive shareholder value, and we have been taking strategic steps to do this. We look forward to completing our acquisition of Stronghold Digital Mining. Okay, you're talking about Ben there and Bitfarms. Private says, I bought into the miners, Cleanspark and Bitfarms at the beginning of the year, 10 months ago, around 10 and 250, and still haven't made anything. In hindsight, I should have just bought BTC and MicroStrategy. So you bought back in 2022 then, right? A year ago, 10 months ago? Oh, no, they were higher at that point. You're right. Yeah, just be patient right now. All right. So you have 100,000 now to deploy on the miners. What's your breakdown and hold until price target for each? Right now, it would be the same one I pretty much have, right? So right now, I think I would get into where the prices are right now. I would probably, gosh, I don't know. Trying to think. You got Cleanspark and IREN, which I think are way undervalued still. Bitfarms is more of a risk at that point. I would say I'll probably go like 40% and 40% into IREN and Cleanspark, and then 20% into Bitfarms right now, based on just what I'm seeing here. And then price target for each. I'm thinking Bitfarms possibly could get to $10 to $20, somewhere around there. I don't know exactly where. I'm still thinking that Cleanspark, depending on the number of shares they report at the end of the year here that they're reporting for fiscal year end, I'm still thinking between 60 and 70, and then IREN, I'm still thinking around maybe $80. If we go like 150,000, 180,000, 200,000 with Bitcoin, right around there. Okay, Brad says, hopefully going forward, holding these miners will actually outperform them and be much better. Yeah. Which is your top 2 miner you must hold? For me, it's Cleanspark and IREN right now. What are your top 3 to 5 BTC miners performance-wise for Q3? Q3, we're still waiting. I mean, performance-wise, we did a video on that already, didn't we? No, we're waiting on the Q3 results. That's why we haven't done it yet. So once those all come out, then we'll do it. Let's see. Hey, Seb, is Molly's neck flexible? She could be looking up or down depending on BTC price. It's a little flexible, but not that much. But that maybe be kind of cool. She's looking up if Bitcoin's going up. So Molly is the giraffe back there. Hey, Seb, do you think energy would be cheaper for miners under Trump or Harris? I don't know. I mean, it's electricity. A lot of the guys that are using it are hydro, thermal. Then you have also, solar, wind, and nuclear, right? I don't know how much cheaper those things can get. If you're talking about natural gas, maybe under Trump, maybe. I don't understand. Bitcoin almost reached previous all-time high, but miners were going down more. They were front-running Bitcoin. Sometimes we see that. Sometimes we see Bitcoin miners going up before Bitcoin goes up. So sometimes we do see that. Space Credit says, thank you, Seb. You're very welcome. Let's see. Andre says, I'm selling Bitfarms' next bit of strength. Okay. Yeah. I don't blame you, right? It's tough. It's tough to hold that one. Private says, I feel like looking at these stocks daily is not a good idea, but I can't help myself. I don't think I really need to do anything for at least 9 months. Just be patient, hold, and get rewarded. Yep. I know. It's tough, right? It's great when they're going up, but when they're going down, it's like, ugh. You get frustrated. It's like, what's going on with these things? Why aren't they going up? So I get it. I know it's tough. What does Molly think about what happened to Peanut and Fred? She was distraught, honestly. She kind of hit her head in the sand a little bit. She didn't want to talk about it. But I saw that. That is so sad. I'm an animal lover. I would never harm an animal, and especially if somebody has pets that they've trained and they're not aggressive to anybody else or anything like that. Why take them away from people? It's it's being kind to one human to another. Why do that? But it is what it is, unfortunately. Okay, today I got diversified out of Mara into 4,000 Cleanspark. I hope Cleanspark do 20 to 40% better than Mara. Keep my fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tight between those two. Andre says, better to trade these miners than HODL because the swings are disturbing. Yeah, I mean, if you can do trading on these, all the more power to you, right? It's not easy because we can see here just what happened in the last couple of days. I mean, they were up huge and they're way down again. So it's not easy. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Wisdom Bytes does swing trading between miners. JG. Okay. So somebody to keep an eye on there, maybe. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Happy elections. Historically, BTC has doubled 2 to 6 months after every election. Let's hope miners can at least 3x Thanks for all you do. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for the super chat again. Yeah. And like I've said before, I don't know how much of an impact the elections have on it. Eventually, Bitcoin does go up anyways, regardless who the winner is there. Okay. Is it safe to buy 20 call for Mara expiring March 2025? Hoping for some that I don't know. I don't do options. I just buy the shares outright. Would you convert Mara into Cleanspark? Depending when you got it into Mara. If you're up in Mara when you got it in low, I would hold on to it. I think Mara is still really good. I wish they would operate better. But they have the name recognition. They have the money. They have got the capital. Everything else. They're doing a lot of other things as well. But they're still the biggest miner out there right now. They're still at 4.5 billion, where everybody else is below that, like 3 and below. So they're still the top dog. Do you think Harris or Trump could fix the insane U.S. national debt? In your opinion, how would it be fixed? Is it by cutting expenses or lowering interest rates, which will lead to higher inflation? I'm not an economist on this part. I would just say you got to live within your means. So I have to live within your means. You have to live within your means, right? If you're bringing in X and you're spending double that or whatever it might be, you're not going to be around for much longer, right? You're going to go into debt, into bankruptcy. So we need to fix the amount that we're spending on all these government programs, all this, just waste, government waste. A lot of stuff is a waste, and we need to fix it. Everything that's done by the government should be justified. There should be a reason for it, why it needs to be done. Right? It's just a lot of red tape, I think, also in there. And as far as who do I think, I don't know. I think with Elon Musk going in for the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, right? He might have some ideas there how to possibly fix some things, but it's going to take time. Okay. Do you think IREN will report October's numbers tomorrow or Wednesday? I think they should report tomorrow. I think they usually report like 2 to 3 days out afterwards. So I would expect them to report tomorrow, especially since a lot of miners were reported. I think they are the only ones that are still left out, along with BitDeer, Hut 8, and I think that's it. I think those are the only 3 left that I have that I haven't reported yet. Okay. All right, perfect. We're caught up to all you guys' questions here. So tomorrow, what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow we will talk about the miners. Obviously, I got Hive, Cypher, TeraWolf, and then I think we'll cover just those 3 tomorrow. And then we'll talk about the election, see where things are at. I mean, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we might have a pretty good understanding of where things are stacking up for Trump and Harris as well on that one. So we'll do that tomorrow, and we'll call it a day. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in, as always. Love you all. Whatever you do tomorrow, go out and vote, regardless who it's for. That's your right. That's your voice. Make it be heard one way or the other, right? It's what this country needs is people voting. So I'll leave it at that. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.